All right, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Now, I've had an interesting conversation with the client this week, and I thought it might be valuable for us to tackle here, which is about lacking clarity about what it is you're wanting to do with your life. Now, if you're not lacking clarity about where you want to take your life specifically, then it might be that you're lacking clarity on where you want to take your business if you're an entrepreneur. And so while it might sound like I'm speaking about life specifically, this can apply to many different areas of life, including in business. So if you're an entrepreneur, listen up. What I've seen with great consistency, and I've seen this in my own life too, is that when we lack clarity, when we're unsure of what it is that we want to do, it's because there's usually something that's blocking us or getting in the way of us being able to see what that is. What is that block? Well, it's usually something to do with a fear, a shame, or a guilt of some kind. And fear can be an anxiety, if you want to use a different word for that. And so what I've found in my own life, it's been really interesting to sort of peel back the various layers that stop us from growing. Because for me, I don't know about you, but I intend on growing in my own experience of my life, in many different areas of my life. And so as I reach different levels within myself, I'm coming up against different points of resistance and different challenges that I have to face within myself. And so it's really interesting and important for me to be able to go inward at those times and see if I can work out what's going on and what might be holding me back. And whenever I've done this with clients, they're usually fascinated from what they discover as we go through the process of getting more and more clarity around what it is that's holding them back. Everything starts to make sense for them. All the pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, and they start to understand why they're not where they want to be, or why they feel so reluctant, or why they might use procrastination techniques as a way to not do the thing and not take action towards the thing that they would love to create. So it's a really interesting exercise to start digging deep into what's holding you back. Because when you do, and you start to realize what it is, you unlock these paths ahead of you that you wouldn't have otherwise found. So why is this an important topic for us to explore? Well, it's common, and there's lots of content out there in the world about fear of failure. But what a lot of people aren't talking about is fear of success. Now, I know that success means something different to everybody, myself included. What my version of success might mean would be different to yours. Defining success is really important, whatever that means to you. Whether it's in your business, there's so many different metrics that you can use for what you consider to be a successful business. And the same is true for your personal life, what you would consider to be successful. I'm not necessarily interested in pursuing success as a North Star. I'm more interested in fulfillment because that has more sustainability and it has a lasting factor to it that success doesn't. Success tends to be momentary, comes and goes, and then it's done. Whereas fulfillment is something that you can continually nurture and create for yourself in your daily life. So when it comes to achieving the things that you would love to achieve and you defining those as a form of success, you want to develop clarity around what that actually is for you, what that achievement means, and what that success means to you. Then once you've got that clarity, you want to ask yourself, what's holding you back? What are you scared of? What do you imagine will happen if you get there? Now, that last question is really important because your imagination is filled with all kinds of details about who you think you're supposed to become. It's filling out details about what your life is going to look like, including the things you don't want. And so by getting clear on what those details are, you'll start to see, well, hold on a second, there are reasons that I say I want this, but maybe unconsciously on some level, I don't actually want this. And so developing clarity around what that is going to help you in a profound way. So what does that look like? Well, what I've found with clients is they'll actually ask the question of like, I don't know why I'm blocked. So can you help me get out of my own way? Because I'll sit down and ask them, what are your dreams? What are your goals for the next 5 years? What do you want to achieve? And they will go blank. And they say to me, they report, I feel like my brain is just switching off. Like there's nothing there for me. Almost like the lights have gone out, but they haven't. What's happening in those cases is everyone knows deep down what inspires them or what they would love to create for themselves. But if there's enough pain associated with getting there or creating that for themselves, they will block their vision to be able to see it. So it's almost like if you could see the horizon, that's your dreams, that's your inspiration. They're the things that you want to go and achieve and go and experience for yourself and work towards. If you can't see the horizon because clouds have come in and blocked your vision of being able to see it, you might feel like it's not there for you or it's not something you actually want for yourself. And so the clouds are like these emotions and these beliefs that are blocking you from being able to see what it is you're trying to create for yourself. So by sitting down and asking yourself, what would you love to create? If you're finding that you're blocked or you can't think of anything, I assure you there's some kind of belief and some kind of emotional charge that is holding you back from being able to see what that is. So then how do we work out what these emotional charges are? Your experience of your past is what you're projecting into the future. So I recently had a conversation with a client who was sharing with me, she was running into the same issue where she wasn't able to give me a definitive answer about what she wanted in 5 years. She could give me an idea of what she wanted in 12 months' time, but 5 years just felt like it was a stretch. It was so far away that there was no clarity whatsoever. And so I started digging into it, and this is something I'm seeing quite a lot, is for some people, they feel like they're going to lose a relationship of some kind if they get really clear on something they would love to do and they pursue it. So you want to think about that for yourself. If you're struggling with this idea of creating the life that you would love for yourself, what's holding you back from doing that? Is it that you're worried you're going to lose the acceptance of your family members or a key person in your family? Are you worried that you're going to lose the acceptance from a loved one like your partner? Are you worried that you're going to lose the acceptance of people that you work with as you pursue whatever it might be? If those are people that you care about or you value the opinion of, there's usually at least one person or a group of people that you're worried will reject you or ostracize you or make fun of you, humiliate you, or just kind of push you out of their lives and not support you in your pursuit of these dreams. Now that's something to ponder, because you're not going to get to the end of your life thinking, I'm glad I sacrificed the things that inspired me. I'm glad I sacrificed my dreams for the sake of other people's opinions and other people's acceptance of me. Because I assure you that even if you do sacrifice your dreams for other people, they will still find things to complain about you. They will still find things to reject about you over time. You will have a conflict at some point if you don't currently have one with them now. So it begs the question, is it worth sacrificing your dream if you're going to face rejection and criticism and maybe even being pushed aside by people that you care about at points in your life when you're living a life that isn't necessarily the life you want for yourself, or aspects of your life? It doesn't have to be your whole life, but maybe just elements of it that you're sacrificing. So you want to ask yourself, is it worth the sacrifice when you've got something that you genuinely want to pursue and you're giving up on that? The other thing you want to ponder as well is go back to when you've seen an experience or you've gone through an experience where you've pursued something that actually lit you up, that energized you, that inspired you, and then you started to deal with some kind of criticism from people, or maybe you were having people rejecting you or cutting you out or putting you down and humiliating you, whatever it might be. If you're fearing this experience of being ostracized or kicked out of a group or no longer included in the future, it's because you experienced that somewhere in your past. So it's important to go back and see where that is for you. See if you can work out what's going on there and where that's coming from. Because I assure you, you're basing this future fear of some past experience. And if you can work out what that is, the clarity you develop will be profound. With this client that I was working with this week, what we found in the past was that she actually explored a bit of a side hustle, a business venture with a friend of hers, and she loved it. It was one of her best friends. But then what was happening was, as they were getting busier and there was more and more work to be done, while she loved a very particular part of the work, essentially one half of operating the business, she found that all of their interactions, including the social interactions when it wasn't work related, became about this side hustle, became about this business. So it almost felt like the business suffocated the ability for them to have a social life together. Now, there was also some other stuff going on in this friend's life as well, like becoming a mother, which meant there was even less ability to have a social life outside of these other aspects of her life. But it felt like the predominant force that was creating a lack of oxygen in the social life between the two of them was this business. And my friend even tried to kind of put guardrails in to protect their time to be social and to be friends, but it just didn't seem to be going that way. And so she was losing hope because she actually valued that relationship as a friendship more than the business partnership. That had more value to her. And that's not right or wrong. It's just that they were friends longer than they were in business together. So that relationship was more important than the partnership. And it felt like that really important relationship to her was being sacrificed in the process. And so by working through these fears of experiences like this that have happened in the past, and you find what the gift of that experience was, a really simple way to start that process is by asking yourself, what are all the benefits and what were all the upsides of what happened? What did I learn? What gifts were there in that experience? And then using that to your advantage moving forward. But by resolving whatever your emotions are and whatever your beliefs are and changing those beliefs from the experience of where these fears originated, it calms down and it clears the path for you to be able then to create the dreams that you're wanting to work towards. It sort of clears those clouds off the horizon so you can see the horizon again. Say, okay, cool. Now that I can see the horizon, I see there's different spots I want to work towards. So it's important, I believe, that when you're wrestling with these fears of success and being honest with yourself about that, you want to go back to where you developed these beliefs and where these beliefs came from, whether it was something that you developed based on the way you saw something or something that you took on from other people. You know, a lot of people have beliefs about money that they've taken on from their parents or from people around them who have their own sets of beliefs. And then you take those on and you're like, well, okay, those people have the same beliefs. They're the experts. They're the adults. So I must believe what they believe because they've been here longer than I have and they know more about money than I do. When in actuality, they probably don't. But you take it on and you download it. So you want to ask yourself, are these beliefs that you've developed on your own or have you taken it from somebody else? And see where you can go back to where these originate in your timeline of your life at the moment, because that's going to leave a lot of clues about what's stopping you and what's getting in the way. These are all anchors. They're holding you back, or they're handbrakes, if you like. And I don't know about you if you've ever driven a car with the handbrake on, but you can still drive the car, but it is clunky, it's jerky, it's not smooth, it's very difficult, and you use more fuel than you need to. The most effective thing you can do when it comes to working towards dreams, especially when you're feeling blocked about them, is to make sure you clear the path by dropping the anchors or disengaging the handbrake, because it makes moving forward much easier. So I'd love for you to spend some time auditing what are the various things that you're scared of will happen if you were to actually go after your dreams, even if you don't know what the dreams are. If you just imagine being really empowered in your life and pursuing something that inspires you, that gives you a reason to wake up every day, makes you feel like you're making a contribution to humanity, however big or small it may be, and helping other people and also nurturing your own soul, if you like, by making contributions and helping. If you can work out what that is and imagine yourself doing that, and then clear the path of the various things that you're scared of, be honest with yourself. List out every single thing that you are scared will happen. If you're scared that you'll be alone, if you're scared that people will want to take advantage of you, if you're scared that you won't know if, let's say you're single and if you become really wealthy, you won't know if people want to be with you because of your success and your wealth or because of fame if you're famous, or are they there for you as the person? That's a genuine fear that a lot of people have too. So you want to list out all the various things that you might be scared of. And I assure you, every single one of the fears you have can be traced back to a point in time where you developed that belief. And then by working through those beliefs and those fears from where they originated, resolving your emotions around them, finding the gift in those experiences, you calm down the fear completely. And it clears the path in a really miraculous way. That's when you develop clarity of like, this is what inspires me. This is what I'd love to work towards doing. And then once you're there, once you've got that clarity, it's just a matter of breaking down the steps of what needs to happen, what you need to do, or who you need to speak to is the best place to start, and work towards it little by little. Just by clearing the path, you've already made a huge leap forward in terms of progress, more than anybody else. And then once you've cleared that path of those fears, then you can start taking action, and that puts you even further ahead of everybody else. And let's face it, if you're here listening to this podcast or watching it, you're not somebody who wants to live a mediocre life. And that's no judgment to a mediocre life, but I tend to attract in people who want a life that is full, that is meaningful. Even leadership is involved for a lot of you. You want to lead by example and by helping other people. So if you're here listening to this, I know that deep down, there is that leader within you that wants to at least lead yourself in your own life. So if I can give you the tools to be able to do that, just by doing this one process, you'll be surprised by how much you unlock in your awareness. When your awareness opens up like that, you'll become unstoppable in really cool ways. So if you find yourself feeling points of resistance, come back to this episode, listen to it again. It'll be here for you. I'll be here for you. And you'll be able to start to unpack the next layer, because I assure you, you'll work through this layer. You'll work through this level, and you'll get to the next level in your life, whatever that is. And then as you grow into more parts of yourself, you will hit new points of resistance, new challenges and new difficulties, which is an opportunity for you then to do the audit. What am I scared of if I continue to push through this? What am I scared of if I go further, farther, and greater in my experience? Come back to this episode when you reach those points and do that audit. Assess your fears, go back and find where they originate, clear those fears out, and then bang, you're on to the next level. So, my hope is that this episode has inspired you to assess your fears and to develop at least a little bit of hope that if you're feeling blocked about what it is that you want to do, and you're looking at other people that seem to be doing well, know exactly what they want to do, and you kind of feel like there's something wrong with you for not, believe me, there's nothing wrong with you. You have that within you. You've just got fears, shames, guilt, different experiences blocking you from being able to see it. So spend time doing the audit, clear the clouds, and believe me, when you see the horizon, the inspiration inside of you and the enthusiasm that it awakens within you is really profound. So on that note, I hope this episode was valuable for you. Keep coming back to it as many times as you like. And please, if you're getting value from the episodes that we're putting out, I would really appreciate if you could take time to leave a review wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. It makes a huge difference. It helps put us out there to more people. All right, with that being said, thank you so much. Lots of love. See you in the next episode.